Okay, let's try a little thought experiment together. We pride ourselves on using our intellect, our logic, for all the big decisions in life, right? Our career, our money, all of it. But what happens when you turn that same sharp, cold logic onto the very structure of life itself? What truth is staring back at us? Let's dive in.
Just think about that for a second. Every single thing you've ever achieved, every party you went to, every success you celebrated, what is it right now? It's just a memory. And let's be real, a memory from yesterday isn't going to fill your stomach today, right? It's not going to take away the aches and pains of the present. It's just gone.
And this is where we hit the core conflict, the central tension that's just built into our lives. We all get to start with the incredible promise of youth. You've got strength, endless energy, this feeling of limitless potential. But where does that road always lead? To the exact opposite. To a state of weakness, of helplessness, where that whole vibrant past just becomes a story you tell yourself.
So, where does this all lead? Well, it points to a final, unavoidable truth about life. A destination that, it turns out, is exactly the same for every single one of us, no matter which path we took to get there.
And this, right here, is the ultimate equalizer. It just demolishes any fantasy we have about status or power. I mean, it doesn't matter one bit if you are a president, a king, or a day laborer. The physical reality of old age is the same helpless state for everybody. In fact, you could argue it's even worse for the powerful. Imagine having commanded armies and now you can't even get a glass of water for yourself. The memory of that power makes the present helplessness a special kind of torture.
So when you step back and look at this whole arc, from strength to weakness, from independence to dependence, you kind of have to ask a pretty provocative question. Is this all just random? Or does it look a little too intentional? Like it was almost designed to make us suffer?
You know, there's this incredible analogy that really paints the picture. Imagine someone feeds you the most delicious sweets every day for 30, 40 years. You get completely used to that pleasure. Then, one day, they just stop, and they start force-feeding you spicy hot chilies instead. Now, the real kicker is, the pain isn't just the burning chilies. No, it's so much worse because you remember so vividly how sweet the good stuff was. The argument here is that this isn't just an analogy. This is the very design of life itself.
And this is where things get really wild. Because when you see that design, it exposes this huge, glaring contradiction in how we think. A massive blind spot in us, the so-called intelligent beings.
I mean, think about our normal approach to the future. We all agree it's wise to prepare. We'll take a 4-year-old kid, and we start planning their entire life, the best schools, saving for college, setting up investments, all to make sure they're secure and successful as an adult. We're all on board with this, right? It's just smart.
Okay, but then here's the absolute paradox. We pour all this energy and planning into preparing for a future with potential problems, but we spend zero time preparing for a future that has certain problems. The helplessness of old age isn't a maybe, it's not a possibility. For anyone who lives that long, it is an absolute guarantee. So why on earth do we just pretend it's not coming?
And if you lay it out side by side, the hypocrisy is just staggering. Decades of planning to avoid maybe being broke versus zero planning to deal with certainly being frail and helpless. We see one as basic common sense, but the other, we see that as morbid, depressing, something you just don't think about. It's a complete and total breakdown of the very logic we pride ourselves on. So what happens when someone actually sees this? When they really get the whole sweet and chilly design of life and our ridiculous contradiction about it? Well, a totally new perspective just naturally emerges. And that perspective has a name, Vairagya.
Now, Vairagya isn't about some dramatic thing like running off to a cave. Not at all. It's simply about seeing things clearly. It's about taking off the rose-colored glasses and seeing the whole picture, the beginning, the middle, and the inevitable end. It's a state of just observing, without the illusion that any of this temporary stuff is permanent.
And when you see things this way, man, it changes everything. Suddenly, you see someone celebrating some big win, a promotion, a new car, and you don't feel envy. You feel compassion, a kind of sadness almost, because you know the rules of the game. You know that no matter how sweet it is for them right now, the chilies are coming. For them, for you, for everyone.
Okay, so this might all sound pretty bleak, right? But it doesn't have to be a dead end. In fact, it's the total opposite. Fully understanding the problem is the absolute necessary first step to starting a genuine search for a real solution.
I mean, think about it. You can't solve a problem if you won't even admit it exists. But the moment you truly deeply accept the predicament we've just laid out, a new question just bubbles up on its own. And it might be the most important one you'll ever ask yourself. Okay, so what am I going to do about this?
And that search, that active hunt for a real answer, that is what spirituality, or adhyatma, is all about. It's not about blind faith, it's a logical investigation. It's the process of really asking the big questions. Is there a way out of this cycle? Is there something inside of me, some immortal element that isn't part of this whole temporary show? Is there a power beyond this that I can connect with? That's the quest.
So all of this brings us right back to you. We plan for our finances, we plan our careers, we plan for our kids' futures. But for the one absolute certainty that is waiting for every single one of us, a future of decline and helplessness, what's your plan? What solution have you prepared? What are you doing about it? Like, right now?